Michael Carver was a prodigious musician whose fingers danced effortlessly across the ivory keys of his grand piano. He lived alone in an old Victorian house at the edge of town, where he sought solace away from the bustling city. The house was a relic, much like the tortured tunes he composed in the haunting silence of the night. It began one bleak winter evening when Michael was awakened by a melody that was foreign yet strikingly familiar. The notes floated from somewhere down the hallway like whispers carried by the wind. Dissonant and disjointed, they pierced the darkness with a chilling clarity that sent a shiver down his spine. Michael discarded it as a figment of his imagination, perhaps a twisted residue of the nocturne he'd been composing. But when the melody returned the next night, clearer and more taunting, he knew it was real. He lay in bed, paralyzed, ears straining to catch the slightest hint of sound. Each note seemed to echo his deepest regrets and fears. One night, driven by an unsettling mix of curiosity and dread, Michael followed the sound. The hallway stretched into shadows, an uncanny resonance in the air guiding him like an invisible tether. He found himself at the door of his late father's study, a room that he hadn't dared to enter since the old man's mysterious death. Slowly, Michael opened the door, his heart pounding in synchrony with the haunting rhythm. The room was untouched, a mausoleum of forgotten memories. The sheet music on the piano was cleanly turned to an unfamiliar piece. The melody hung in the air, growing louder, richer, until it was all-consuming. As he approached the piano, he felt a cold presence envelop him. The keys began to move on their own, playing the haunting tune that had disrupted his nights. It was then that he saw the shadow, a figure seated at the piano, its face obscured, fingers weaving a tapestry of terror. The room pulsed with an ancient energy, and Michael felt a crushing weight on his chest. Each haunting note unfurled a memory, long repressed. The betrayal of a loved one, an unforgiving ambition, the loneliness that gnawed at his soul. The music was a mirror, reflecting the darkness he had hidden so well. Eyes wide with terror, Michael staggered back. The shadow at the piano slowly turned, revealing a face twisted in despair at his own. The realization struck like a lightning bolt: the apparition was a manifestation of his inner turmoil, his subconscious tormenting him with music. Desperate to silence the torment, Michael raced outside into the night, the frigid air biting at his skin, yet the melody pursued him, an ever-present spectre whispering his sins in his ear. He collapsed in the snow, the last notes echoing in his mind. When the townspeople found him the next morning, they spoke of a serene silence, an eerie calm that enveloped the house.